CPUs. Snapdragon has made really, really good CPUs. Been on a very consistent pace just in the last few years, right? It's been a long time. I think the last one that had real issues, I think it was like the 820 before they went to the Gen series. Snapdragon 820, I believe, had overheating issues. Some people had overheating issues with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, but that's in the past. 8 Gen 4, which is going to come out here in just about 5 months, is going to be more expensive. So that's the bad news. Like everything else, your Netflix price increase, right? Your Hulu, your Disney Plus prices are going up. Your T-Mobile prices are going up. Your grocery bill, everything going up. Guess what? So is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. So what does that mean? So that means the S25 series, or whatever device it's going to come in, even if it's a Xiaomi device, more expensive, which sucks. But I mean, I don't know. It is what it is, right? Inflation is hitting every aspect of business around the world, right? And unfortunately, it looks like the price is going to go up now. Well, it is going to go up now. We got bad news that, and here's the thing. I think it's going to be a drastic increase. And here, let me explain. So the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 has been the same price as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, right? Roughly same price as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. This new Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 is going to be 30% more expensive for Samsung or Xiaomi to purchase each CPU. So in business, what do? They basically, you don't want that to cut into your profits, into your revenue, so you pass that increase on to the consumer. Or you could cut some of it, but you're going to pass some increase, whether it's 5%, 10%, 20%, or all 30%. You're going to pass some increase to the consumer so you don't cut into your profits as much, right? So we got news. If you watched our podcast, we told you that, I think it was 3 days ago, it was on Friday or Saturday's podcast, the new upcoming Z Flip 6 and Z Fold 6 are going to see a price increase. What? Yes. Now, that has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Now, the price increase is not coming from the CPU. Price increase is coming from other suppliers increasing their product, right? So they're increasing their product $100. So the Z Flip 5 was $1,000. This year it's going to be $1,100. The Z Fold 5 this year was $1,800. This year it's going to be $2,000, 2 racks. Now, here's the bad news, extra bad news. So you can expect the S25 series to see an increase outside of the Snapdragon increase. Just let's take the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 price increase news out right now and say, well, if they're increasing the prices on these foldables moving forward, you can assume that Samsung would probably raise the price of these S25 series, right? Just because their suppliers are increasing the price for their products wholesale. Samsung's got to source these products, put them in the phone. So they're going to pass the price increase to you, the consumer, right? Again, to not cut into their profits. Now, you take the normal price increase of $100, and then you also take the price increase from the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, you're going to see a drastic increase. So the S24 Plus was basically $1,000, right? The middle one, basically $1,000. Next year, well, not next year, in 6 months, the Snapdragon, with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 price increase, with the all other parts price increase, I think we're going to look at about $150 extra, more. So instead of the S24 Plus costing $1,000, I think the S25 Plus is going to be $1,150. I think the $1,200 S24 Ultra is going to be a $1,400 S25 Ultra. And I think the base S25 is going to be $1,000. That's what it looks like. I don't see any other way around it unless Samsung wants to offset some of those price increases to make it not such a drastic price increase. Because if they increase it too much, especially by like $200, $150, that's gonna look, that's a drastic price increase from last year's model. So they may try to gradually, and I think this is what they're gonna do. They may try and gradually increase the price, project maybe over the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and try to offset some of those price increases. Try to stagger it out, spread it out over the next couple of years. Of course, you cannot predict what happens in 2 to 3 years, but those are the risks you take when you're in the manufacturing business and selling a product, right? You got to project and estimate for the future. But bad news there, but it is what it is, right? Good news is that if you don't want to pay a ton of money for a flagship device, this is where Nothing and OnePlus come in. Little side note. So this is where OnePlus and Nothing can really cut into Samsung's consumer base, right? So you have the OnePlus 12. I think this was $799 brand new, and it's spec'd out, right? You got 24 gigs of RAM total, 512 gigs of storage, 2K display, beautiful device. I've been loving it. Oh, check this out. You're not going to believe this. I'm taking camera tests, right? So I got my S24 Ultra when I'm moving around town, and I'll carry this in my pocket too when I'm out and about. I've been randomly pulling each phone out, taking pictures, just random pictures. I was looking at them the other day. I think and I'm whispering because it's kind of, I may get pummeled or attacked for saying this, but I think this OnePlus 12 takes better photos than the S24 Ultra. Honestly. And I'm going to put a video together, I think probably for tomorrow or Wednesday, and show everybody, put all these photos, put a video comparison together, and show you exactly what I'm talking about. It's amazing. It's amazing what OnePlus has done. Better photos. I'm like, am I tripping or are my eyes seeing correct? So anyways, long story short, you don't have to pay $1,000 for a phone if you don't want to, right? Go get you a OnePlus 12. This is what, $799? The OnePlus 12R, $500, right? Has flagship specs from 2023, but for a fraction of the price. Go get you a Nothing Phone 2. Nothing stated they're not going to sell the Nothing Phone 3 until next year, 2025. So what does that mean? That means you can get this phenomenal device for a pretty good deal, right? For 400 something bucks. I mean, awesome phone. Looks like an iPhone, but it's not. It's a beautiful phone. You're going to love it. I could not recommend it more. And then if you really want to get a good phone at the absolute cheapest price possible, you got this one. Nothing Phone 2A. All right. Cannot recommend that enough. So again, Samsung's raising the prices, and look, it's not to say that OnePlus, they might unfortunately do the same thing, and Nothing might unfortunately do the same thing, but we'll have to see where these prices are set in the future, and then try to determine, you know what, I might be able to get the manufacturer's cost of this CPU and see what the real price increase is with the 8 Gen 4, upcoming 8 Gen 4 price increase compared to the current 8 Gen 3. I saw it one time, but the price is probably way different. But I think each manufacturer, depending on who you are, look, these deals are all negotiated depending on, a lot of determining factors when you negotiate these big deals. But for a manufacturer like Samsung to negotiate with Qualcomm for each individual Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. I don't know, maybe $75, $80, maybe $100 per CPU. Let's see if I can find the price per CPU. So I'm going to look up Snapdragon 8 Gen, because we know the price is going to increase by 30% with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. So let's see how much the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 was, and then we can increase that by 30%, right? Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 wholesale cost price. Okay, so we got some numbers here. Damn, so they can look at this. Y'all are not going to believe this. What's going on, Ashton? Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate it. Check this out. Damn, where's this? There we go. All right, watch this. So we can get an estimated price. So let me share the screen. Okay. A Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 roughly costs, each minute is higher than I initially thought. Each minute, that makes sense because I think when I saw that stat, it was a few years ago, and that's when the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 was out. And they've steadily increased every year. So I don't know why this is making news, because it looks like this is a constant thing. Every single year, the price goes up. So the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is estimated to cost $200 for Qualcomm's partner. Now again, partners, meaning the price per CPU is $200. And again, that can be negotiated. You can get that number down if you're Samsung, right? Because you're going to make, like, I don't know, 100 million phones with that CPU in it. So you can negotiate and get it down to, I don't know, 180, 185. But if you're OnePlus and you're putting that Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in your OnePlus 12, but you're only going to sell, a million of them, they're not going to budge from that $200 price point, Qualcomm, meaning. So just like in business, there's negotiations, right, for everything. But look, check this out. So the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 was a 25% increase over the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So this looks like a normal thing. So I don't know why this is all over the news. I think it's just because we were getting at, right? Price is going to get a little more expensive. And then not only that, but Samsung's raising the prices on their foldables. And I think they're going to increase the price on the S25. We'll have to wait and see. I know Samsung could do us a solid and not increase the price, or increase it by like $50. But so let's see. If the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 was $200, let's multiply that times 200 times 1.3. Wow, so it's going to be $260 per CPU for the 8 Gen 4. Wow. When is it gonna that's the thing, at what point is this gonna get too much, right? Like if they're continually gonna increase the price by 20, 25%, 30% every year, how much are these phones gonna cost in 5 years, right? Are we gonna look at a $1,000 phone right now? Right now, a $1,000 phone, like, god damn, that's expensive. In 5 years, it could be $2,000. It could be $2,500, right? An insane amount of money for a smartphone. And that's not even the very best. That's just a basic flagship. And At what point? Look, they at some point, consumers' sales are going to drop way off if they continually jack the price up. Because look, at some point, Samsung, Apple, well, not Apple because they make their own CPU, but Samsung, OnePlus, Xiaomi can only hold that price for so long before they have to raise their prices to offset the price increase from the supplier. You see what I'm saying? Like if Samsung continually holds their S24 series at $1,000, while Qualcomm increasing 30% every year. Well, that CPU is going to cost $200, $260, $320, $400. You know, that cuts into Samsung's profit, right? So if Samsung's making $500 on every $1,000 phone, which is about normal, it's about average, that $500 profit goes to $450, $400, $380, $320. You know, at some point, Samsung's numbers, their projected sales, their revenue, their stock price is going to go down. Samsung, they can only hold that $1,000 line for so long. And I think this year you're seeing the increase. The foldables more expensive. S25. That's why I'm saying with the S25, I think we're going to see a noticeable price increase. There's no way they can hold this line for that much longer. But again, when does it stop? I don't know. That at some point, it just does not become feasible for your average consumer, even financing it. Do y'all remember when you go to the carriers or you use a credit card, you go through Amazon? But let's say the carrier, since the majority of people out here in the United States, when they upgrade, they go through the carrier, right? Do you remember even just a few years ago? I remember that $30 a month price point when you finance your device, over 24 to 36 months. I remember it being $24 a month, right? With a Note 20, something like that, about 5 years ago. And then I was like, and it was that $30 price point where I was like, damn, it's kind of expensive. And then I think the S22 Ultra hit $33 a month on T-Mobile when you finance it and put it on your plan. And then after that, 38. Now 42. And this year is the first time we hit $50 a month to finance your device through a carrier. Now, it depends on what device you get. Verizon's 36 months. T-Mobile's 24 months. You get the idea. But at what point is that too much, right? So, like, $50 a month doesn't look that bad compared to $1,800 right off the top. However, like, wait, hold up. How long am I going to have to pay $50 a month for? I think we're going to get to a crossroads here in about 3 years. So in about 3 years, unfortunately, I don't see this price increase slowing down. And I think that's going to be the cross, because right now it's expensive, but I think this shit's just begun. I think in 3 years, it's going to be so expensive. I believe they're going to jack the prices up that much that there's going to come a point where these phone manufacturers, these carriers, and consumers are going to reach a crucial point. The consumer will simply not buy a phone if it cuts into their normal bills, right? Paying rent is a must. It comes down to needs and wants. You need rent. You need food. And then basically you can determine for yourself what you need and what you want. But a phone is a want. A phone is not a need, right? You can survive and live perfectly fine without a phone. Now, I'm talking flagship. And this is where it comes to a crossroads, because at what point Samsung cut their suppliers' price increase cutting into their pockets. Samsung can only pass on the price increase to the consumers so much before the consumers say, you know what, I'm not buying that. A $3,000 phone? Hell no. Oh, but you can finance it on T-Mobile, lower the price. For $80 a month? Hell no. And this is where nothing steps in, right? This is where maybe OnePlus. Now they're on the border. They're cheaper than flagships, and they make a phenomenal product. Now currently cheaper than Samsung and Apple, but they may see an increase here soon too. So they're cheaper flagships, but people are going to start leaning towards, do you want an $1,800 phone or an $800 phone? And this $800 phone can do everything and more that the $1,800 phone can do. Well, people are going to go get this, even though it's not a Samsung, right? Or if somebody still says, no, that's too much, this is where you're going to see the cheaper phones really, really, really succeed. I believe nothing is going to take off as we continually see this price increase, as we continue to go through these times where everything's getting more expensive. And now look, and these are so cheap that they can afford a little price increase. $350 for this is a steal. An absolute steal. So they can afford a little price increase here and there. I don't care. I won't notice it. $400 for this? Okay. $450? I'd rather not, but maybe. $500, I think, is pushing it. I think sales starts to drop off if you price this at $500 or over. But $350, man, all day, every day. Phenomenal phone. Anybody can use this. And I think this is where you're going to see nothing, potentially OnePlus start to take off. And this is where you're going to see Samsung crossroads. Apple, I'm not so sure. I think Apple's in a very lucky position because the demand for iPhones, especially here in America, is really high. Now, it doesn't mean they can just do whatever they want and can afford tons of mess ups and screwing stuff up. You can only do that for so long. Now, they have such a big lead in demand worldwide, but especially here in America. They can, and I say mess up, but I mean overprice something or put out a product that doesn't sell. But it will affect even Apple. That's just a fact. It will if the prices get too high, right? They can't sell you an iPhone for $4,000. Nobody's going to buy it, right? So even they have to be cautious with where we're headed. But okay, let me get out of here. Appreciate you joining me. Thank you very much. eSIM Studios podcast episode number 121. You can catch the replay. You are here on YouTube. All right. If you're going to be out and about, take us on the go. Wherever you get your podcast at, simply search eSIM Studios, and we shall appear in whatever platform you're searching us in. And then also go to esimstudios.app. That's where I keep all of my articles and publications. Today I didn't have any because I was busy, but every day I'm always updating the website. Every single day. I'll even get to it today, so I'm not going to skip it today. Just do it a little later. But thank you very much. Appreciate the time. Have a safe and enjoyable afternoon. And as always, I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to try to live stream a little earlier. I know I said that yesterday for today. Today's not an average day, so I had whatever. Trying to get to a 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Central Standard Time start time. So I'm going to try to hit that goal tomorrow. So be a little earlier tomorrow, but if you're watching this, hit subscribe so you will be notified when we do go live. So appreciate it. Take care. Peace out.